This is Nancy here at Bolingbrook Community Television in Bolingbrook, Illinois, and we're here at a 4-day workshop for children for the STEM Association. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. They're learning everything from launching rockets to building code to making video games and taking them home to play. I just can't tell you enough what's going on here, so why don't we just take a little brief peek and we'll give you some tours and some interviews.
For me, I think first and foremost, it's just a passion for working with our youth and ensuring that we sort of steer them in the right direction. STEM technology has been around for a while, and it's really a hot thing at the moment. But the Bolingbrook STEM Association started in 2017 in the May-June timeframe. And so my sort of desire to bring STEM to Bolingbrook stems from, no pun intended, my 20-year career in the telecommunications/technology industry. As my colleague Corley mentioned, we actually work for the same company. I work for Nokia. When I started with the company in 1997, we were Lucent Technologies. Then we became Alcatel-Lucent and now Nokia. And I started in the engineering, more of the technical realm of the business, and then transitioned to the business operations, and now I'm in global compliance management, making sure we follow all of our customers' contractual requirements and the U.S. government's.
Okay. So what gave you the passion to jump in and get the kids involved in this?
Well, again, I think a desire to sort of fill the pipeline. What I've noticed is a lot of my colleagues at work, just as an example, are basically pension eligible. So that tells me that, there's going to be a shift here where we're going to need plenty of talent to take on the jobs of today and tomorrow. There's a lot of research being done and studies that show there will be 1 million+ jobs available in the future, many of which that do not even exist today, that are going to be technologically skilled level jobs that we're going to need young and new and fresh and bright talent to take those jobs. I believe we're at 73 students, somewhere in that ballpark, 73 to 75. And so we're really excited about that. For this to be our first event, our inaugural STEM event, we're really excited about that number. And we feel like we can only go up from here. Our whole objective is to make STEM fun. It's all about making STEM fun and to sort of take down the fears and concerns of math and science being hard. It's really about developing the fundamentals at a young age. And as you grow, you build on the foundation. So we're working really hard to give our young students a strong foundation that they can then build on and become doctors, engineers, aviation specialists, wherever their hearts, lead them. We want to give them the skill set and the foundation to be able to take on those careers.
Basically, what I'm in charge to do is to go out and find different companies like Engineering for Kids that are interested in doing STEM in the Bolingbrook area. STEM in general has started about 5 years ago, and now you're seeing more and more schools and people getting involved with STEM. They even have a career called STEM now. I work for AT&T, Alcatel-Lucent, and now Nokia for the last 32 years. So the thing with 32 years, my question is, what do I do? I give back by teaching STEM classes, developing programs, and I also do that for Southern New Hampshire. So that's kind of my background.
I've been with the company since its beginning. I do payroll and inventory, and I still teach occasionally because I miss getting to work with the kids, but scheduling and all kinds of things, putting new camps together like this. And we always say we don't know if we're making engineers here. That's not really our goal. It would be wonderful if 20 years from now all these kids came back and they're doing something in the STEM field, but really what we concentrate on is making sure that they're critical thinkers, that they're cooperative learners and can work well in a team, that they can problem solve. Those are skills that they can use no matter where they end up. So if they're a chemist or an engineer or a mathematician, that's fantastic, but we really want them to be critical thinkers, problem solvers, and cooperative learners. Lots of success stories. Only 5 years in, so we don't have any out in the professional world yet, but teachers tell us all the time that they can tell the students that take our classes versus students that don't, because because they really are starting to show those skills. They're starting to show more problem-solving skills in the classroom, things like that. So that makes us very happy.
How do you teach a skill like that? That's not tangible. It's
Right, absolutely. It's all with hands-on practice, which is what our whole program is about. It's very hands-on based. So the students are making something, they're designing, building, testing, and going through that process over and over again, because we tell them in the real world it doesn't always work the very first time, rarely works the first time. So it's really that repetition, and it's really that diligence that they start to show, that they get a chance to exhibit some of those problem-solving skills and those cooperative learning skills. So all hands-on, it's fantastic.
so you're teaching them patience,
Absolutely.
and how to think.
Right.
That's so important. People know how to think. You can teach them 1 + 1 is 2, but to actually weather it out and
Right, to go through that whole process. We use a six-step design model. So within that design model, to go through that process and really hypothesize about a problem and brainstorm and come up with some solutions, and to draft that out, to draw that design, then to build it and to test it, and then to go back through that process again to see where things could be tweaked a little bit or improved a little bit is really valuable. No matter what job they end up in the future, that's a valuable skill.
yeah, I was just thinking that because you can take that skill everywhere. I mean, relationships, everything, that just you're really teaching a viable skill, especially in all the attention deficit with the learning. You're really getting them to hone in on things.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Parents and teachers alike really comment on the strides they see their kids make throughout the process. So we're pretty happy about that. That's a good success story for us. And the kids leave excited. They're excited about STEM, and really that's our whole objective, is we want them to be excited about learning. We want them to be excited about science and mathematics. We really want them to delve into it, because really those are the jobs that are going to be in the future. So to get them excited now is important.
All right, so my name is Alyssa Mazurek, and I'm one of the lead teachers for Engineering for Kids. Here, we are based in Aurora, but we are out in the community as well, and today we're here in Bolingbrook. I teach a lot of the different classes that we have. We go into many different disciplines of engineering. Today I'm teaching one of our video game design classes for our younger crowd, and with that, it's called Scratch, and the kids get to go and design a video game or a different project and make it their own. But I really like this program because it provides kids the stepping stones to go further into coding and programming. We make scripts, which is putting blocks together to go step by step into creating a full program that they get to run and play and test themselves. Now with engineering, we focus a lot on the engineering design process, and that focuses on kids making a project from an idea that they have, but then the most important part is going back and testing it to making sure that it works. And when it doesn't work sometimes, we have to make sure that they understand that it is okay to go back around and retest and redesign and rebuild, focus on different aspects of their project that they need to change, and a lot of the problem solving that goes into that. A lot of our teachers come from many different backgrounds. We have college students who are working towards becoming engineers themselves. We have teachers with plenty of experience out in schools who come back and want to teach more, and a lot of the STEM-based focus. Myself, I'm getting a master's degree in speech pathology, but I love working with children and being in this type of field and watching the light bulbs go off every day. So the way I teach my programming classes for the kids in the video game design, we go over the main framework so that way they have some sort of base. And then after we get that base framework, we go into more of them adding their own personalities to the game, whether it's changing backdrops or changing what characters they're using in the game, which direction they're moving. There's lots of different elements that they can change. When we focus on actual video games, we focus a lot on how to make the games harder, because the basic framework is very simple and makes it a very easy game sometimes to win. So I like trying to get the kids to think what they can change to make it a harder game, or add more fun elements, whether that be the sounds that they use, or again, how the characters look. Again, putting their own personality into a game and making it their own. Well, thank you so much for letting me share with you guys what Engineering for Kids is all about. Today, I really hope to just have the kids get that introduction to engineering and working on their own problem-solving skills and having them look forward to the rest of the week to come.
Hi, we're here now with Mr. Logan, and he is one of the teachers here in the class. You got to teach the younger children. What was the age rate?
So the ages are 4 to 7.
Is that the age that you usually teach?
No, normally I teach 8 to 14.
Okay, and what is your specialty in teaching?
My specialty is with robotics and all the computer work. I started working here because the owner, Chris Lebrecht, knew me from my middle school science fair projects where I used the robotics, and I made one that solved a Rubik's Cube, and he thought that was cool, and he needed someone who knew the robots. So I got hired for that, and then I've progressed through high school and a little bit of college so far with engineering and robotics and everything. I've been working here about 4 years.
What's your favorite part about working with the children and all that?
I think my favorite part is at the end when the parents come and the kids are just like super duper excited to show their parents what they made, and they're, even though the classes are so short, they feel like they learned something, and they're super proud of anything they actually physically make.
What do you physically make?
We make different kinds of robots, like the soccer ones that we made today, or other times if we're doing something like video game design, then they get to take home a copy of their video game, and then they can play it at home. Everyone makes their own game, and I have a CD burner, and then we all burn it onto one disc, so they get a copy of everyone's game, including one that I make. So normally mine are just a little bit better than theirs, because hopefully it should be. But yeah, so they all get to take them home and they can play it on their computer. It's just an application that you run.
Now today over here you were building the little robots, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're We Do robots, which is from Lego. So Lego has lots of different age ranges for their robots. They have ones like these that are made for kids their age, and then there are also NXT robots and Evo robots, which are made for kids, all the way up to 14 to 16, and they have competitions all around the world for them. I'm hoping that today sets a good foundation for if any of the kids come back, that now they know what it's like to work in pairs, because that was one of the most difficult parts for little kids, is working in pairs or groups, and not only being able to do what you want, is recognizing other people's needs and wants. All right, so today we made some marble mazes. So they look like this. First they drew a design, and then they saw how plausible it was for them to do. So here he said that this part wasn't really, it was going to be too hard to do. So we stuck with this side, and then we followed and made it kind of like a road, right? So the marble's going to follow the road. Here, show her. Nice. So today we did aerospace engineering, so I talked to them about how that meant dealing with planes, helicopters, rocket ships, everything that goes up in the air. And we made first a little paper model of a helicopter, and it just twirled and spun, kind of like those seeds that fall off the trees that are helicopters. It works with that principle. And then we made a helicopter with a more real rotor blade and a rubber band, and then when you charge up the energy with the rubber band, then it kind of flies a little bit. And then we made a rocket. That was the Stomp Rockets. Okay. So those are very exciting for them because they get to build up all their energy and jump on it, and that's it. They just love jumping on it.
I'm here with Sarah Davis right now, and you had the young group. What was the ages?
Kindergarten through first grade.
And what were you doing here today?
We were working on simple machines. We had several different activities. So we had levers, ramps, and pulleys. So for levers, they had a seesaw type activity where they would put blocks or bolts on different sides to see which was heavier and which side the ball would roll to there. And for pulleys, there was a string here, and they had to get items back and forth to build a raft between the two sides. And the ramp, they were rolling balls and marbles down it. The older kids will be doing some with robotics. So it's called the Robotics Olympics. So there will be hockey and tug of war and all sorts of different activities that you'd see. So they'll learn how to program the robots to kick the ball or to throw it, and use different parts of programming to get it to move in different ways.
I'm here now with Stephanie Malin, and you're one of the main teachers here.
This is my third year with Engineering for Kids. Today with one of the younger classes, we talked about circuits. We talked about insulators and conductors as well, so the students had the opportunity to take a battery pack and test different surfaces to see if they were insulators or conductors. And then we proceeded to teach the students how to build a SketchBot. So the SketchBot has a motor attached to it, attached to a battery pack, and that battery pack then helps to spin the bot so that it can draw because there are markers attached to the lower surface of it. So the older group, we are doing Robot Olympics, so we'll start off by teaching them how to program their robot. These robots are VEX robots, and they do have a brain, sort of, so you are able to program them on the computer. You download the program onto the robot, and then you can play the program, so the robot will do whatever directions they tell it to do. So we'll end up playing some games with that as they progress. Today, for the first class, we worked on DNA extraction. So we talked about forensics engineers and how they have to analyze DNA at crime scenes and things like that. And then the second part, we talked about pH, and we tested the pH of different solutions to see if they were acidic or basic or neutral, as another way that forensics engineers can kind of look at that to see if they can find the person who committed the crime. Sometimes it's just a challenge. Yesterday, one of the classes we put together, we gave them paper and tape, and we told them to make the tallest, strongest tower that they could. And at first they all said, "This is going to be so easy. Why are you having us do this?" And then they just had to keep working at it and keep building and trying to make it even stronger and taller. And so just taking everyday objects and kind of using them in a different way.
And I heard you say to the kids, now the design that you ended up with was nothing like the one that you started with.
Absolutely. And that's something that they kind of realize too. When we do that design aspect at first, they draw something out, and I try to make sure that their designs are very detailed. And then as they're building, they start to realize, okay, maybe this isn't going to work so well, and so they kind of recalculate and they figure out what is going to work better. What if what if we try this? What if we try this? And usually they end up with a design in the end that works.
Teaching them to switch gears and restart.
Yeah, and I keep telling them that patience and perseverance is going to be the best for them because, sometimes they'll put the weights on their tower and it'll start to collapse, and I don't want them to get down on themselves. They just found a way that didn't work, and so they just have to rebuild and retry it again and see if they can find something else that works better.
First time we were supposed to we were kind of making it where it would be like these. And then it would have a top, and then it would have more on top. And it won't stay enough. It just keeps falling over.
Okay. And then I got the idea of doing poles, but then it wouldn't stand up. Right. So you would need something to keep it sturdy.
Okay.
And then she asked us if we could do it any taller, and I looked over and we had extra paper. So I just started rolling the paper up and putting it inside, and I taped it, and we used most of our tape, and we also thought the marshmallow would go through the tube on the top here, so we put that piece of paper on top by making cuts.
Okay.
But it wouldn't work out because then it was so unbalanced at the top. So we took it off and we used the tape on top of that to make sure everything else was much more secure.
Very good. Is your dad an engineer by any chance?
He's an architect.
Aha!
He would give me all of his little buildings that he made for his school and give them to me when I was still playing with my tiny minifigure dolls.
Well, it sure paid off. You got the talent. Very good job.
So the second half of today is going to be robotics with the high schoolers. So we'll be working on coding and programming their robots, and then we'll also do some games at the end. I would have to say that the DNA extraction that we did today was my favorite. Okay. I always think it's really cool when the kids are able to see that DNA and they're able to get it out of the solution, and they're all just so amazed, and it's really cool to see that from something that they see every day.
So we mixed water and detergent and salt, and then we poured that into the strawberry, and then we waited, and then we took out the DNA.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm here with Mary Alexander Basta, and she's the Vice President of STEM. And so I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about what it is you do as Vice President.
Basically, I help out with marketing and promoting and sponsorship and anything and everything that Sheldon wants me to do. We just started with the launch of STEM, which was this past summer, but hopefully in Bolingbrook we'll be doing it for a very long time to come.
What was your favorite event so far in the days that have been on this workshop?
I'm thinking that maybe this robotics is the best thing. The kids are just so into it and so excited about it that it's amazing. Obviously, the high schoolers learning how to code games instead of just playing the games is very significant as well.
Everybody seems very interested in this, and I can't wait to see how this all comes out on the last day, but I think this is a great success.
We're very excited. It's an amazing start. Thank you guys for being here and supporting us, and look forward for many more events to come.
Oh, you bet. You know, I hope it's gonna be bigger and better next year.
Bigger and better, always bigger and better.
Thank you, Mary, for giving us the interview.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. One of the things that impressed me the most about our talking, discovered that you were in one of these classes yourself back at COD, you said?
Yeah, I went to a kind of engineering pre-STEM before it was called STEM and all that. It was to practice building the NXT robots, which we actually use in our programs, even though that was 10, 12 years ago. So it's pretty neat to see that, they still use them, but now they're getting better and better. And so, yeah, I did that with a friend and I really liked it. And I kept up with school, being good at math and science, and so now getting an engineering degree and all that.
When they talk about the success stories, earlier we'd mentioned, how can you tell so early, this is only like a 5-year program, but you basically are living proof of one of the success stories because you were in the class and now you're here teaching it.
Yeah, so I think that you can tell which kids really enjoy it and which kids don't enjoy it, but we style our lessons so that way every kid can find a way to enjoy it, whether they like just drawing and doing that, then they know that they like drawing and being creative, or if they like doing the physics behind it, then we have worksheets that we can work out a little bit of math. Obviously not for the 4 to 7-year-olds, they're not quite good at their arithmetic yet, but eventually we start doing worksheets and we kind of let them do whatever side they are good at.
Sandra, and how many years have you been into computers?
When I was maybe first grade, so 7 years.
Do you know what you're going to be studying here today?
Today, I think it said rocket
Rockets?
science.
Okay, you're going to be in the rocket group. Great.
It works by the wires connected to the battery, and then we connect it to the light, and we connect the wire to the pin, which when you touch it together, it makes the light bulb light up.
We're now here with Anna, and you are Alexandra's mother?
Yes, I'm Anna.
So how did you hear about today?
Principal, Alexandra's principal called me and asked me if she will be interested, and I said yes, because it's a great opportunity for her, to learn something new. I like when she's learning something new every day, and it's not like sitting at home and doing nothing, so it's a great opportunity.
Do you work on computers as well?
No, just at home, like everybody.
Well, maybe she can share some of this with you when you go home.
I can learn something new, why not?
I'm here now with
Natalie.
Do you know what you're going to be studying today?
I think robotics.
So what particularly are you into? What are you hoping to get out of here this weekend?
I'm not mostly building things with STEM and seeing rockets and stuff, just seeing them just into action.
Oh, that's great. Are you thinking about going into computers as a future?
Maybe. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
We're here with Kelly. This is Natalie's mother. So how did you hear about the program?
Well, Natalie's principal, Mrs. DiDonato from AVM, called and asked, first asked Natalie if she would be interested in, and Natalie said yes, and then she called me to ask if we would be interested in doing this program this week, and we were very excited.
Oh yeah, sounds like it's a really great program. Are you into computers yourself?
I am kind of into computers. I'm actually a math teacher. I teach high school mathematics, so I'm very much into STEM and anything that has to do with math and engineering and science.
Well, that would be everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything breaks down to math, So yeah, we were in there, and this just looks like it's going to be a really great program. What are your expectations out of this?
I'm expecting her to have a lot of fun, to learn a lot, and to continue her interest in science, technology, robotics, engineering. I saw there's some civil engineering, and Natalie's dad is in civil engineering, so she'll learn a lot about what he does as well.
They were telling me about is Scratch is a program that helps you learn like the actual code that goes in computer?
Pretty sure.
Okay. Well, face the camera so they can see because he's such a cute kid. Now, the code is that's like the actual heart of the computer, huh? That like teaches you how to go from everything from there, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you been interested in computers for a while?
Yes, I've been interested since I was like 4. And I've been doing it, and I've been doing all sorts of things on my computer ever since. I used to do it all on my mom's computer, but then when I was 7, I got my own computer. Actually, no, I was 8. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what kind of a computer you have?
My dad actually built it. Me and him built it.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So how long did that take you?
Couple days.
Well, just knocked it off in a couple of days. So you're really meant for this today. Okay, we're here right now with Audrey and Ryan, and they're both in today's class. And you told me that you've been into this before. Want to tell me a little bit about it?
I did go to Oak Prairie and did this. I made my very first rocket, and it actually worked the very first time. It almost got caught in a tree.
Well, it went pretty high, huh?
Yes, it did. And I thought STEM was a very interesting thing. It's like the spark that lights the fire within everyone, the creation, the imagination that everyone has. And I thought, wow.
Have you ever thought about going into advertising? That was you put that very well.
Like everyone reaches out for their own thing that they desire, and that one thing that everyone desires is everything I think everyone wants. To feel free and create things that have never been seen before. Or like the hand reaching for the door or of light and rising from the darkness is to the world of imagination.
Wow. Wow. Well put. Very well put. Boy. You have a thing with words. I think we're going to expect a lot of things out of you today in life in general. Have you worked on computers before?
I have worked on computers, but I'm not so good at STEM.
Okay.
But when I think of STEM, I think of it as people like architecture. Like they have to write it down on blueprints and then build it out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all coming out from their head.
Okay.
It's not coming from anyone else, but it's coming from their head.
And so the computer allows them to get it out and get it onto paper and make it happen. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're here with Alex, and you said you've been working with computers for how many years?
2 or 3.
2 or 3. So what were you studying there today?
Coding.
Coding. Now, coding. What does coding do for computers? What does coding mean?
Coding's basically like a script for like whatever you're doing.
Okay. Okay. So how did you like today?
Very good. Better than I expected.
Cool. That's very cool. I think computers are awesome. It's everything you're going to need to know in the future. You coming back tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Do you know what you're doing tomorrow?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll be back here tomorrow with you. Right now, I'm here with Braden and Kathy. This is his grandma. So how do you feel about the program?
I think it was just great. He had a wonderful time every day, all excited to come back for the next day. So yeah, and it gave me a little break for the winter too.
You had some fun, didn't you? Uh-huh. Here, look at the camera. Say hi. Up there. So now you said...
I've never seen him tongue-tied before. Yes, I don't know. They kind of told me about it like on Friday right before Christmas break and just said, we selected your child to be in this program and do you want him to go to the camp? And I was like, wonderful. Oh, yeah. And we asked him and he was all excited, so here we are. Oh, yeah, he had a real good time. Yeah.
Well, thank you
Great.
so much. We're here on the last day and I'm here with Nair. What is your name again, sweetie?
EJ, but my real name is Efrain.
Okay, well, you've got that. How do you feel about this class?
I loved the week of the program. We were always wanting to put him in a program that can develop his intelligence, right, and his curiosity. And we found the website and in the information of the STEM program, and it has been a great. And he's very excited every time that I pick him up he's so excited about the new things he learned, and willing to come the next day. So it's wonderful.
That's one of the things I've been hearing repeated out throughout this, that they're so willing to come back the next day.
Oh, definitely. And he's not that kind of kid that he usually gets bored easily. But the last 3 days have been great for him, and he's very excited. I hope that this program continues, definitely.
I know that there's talk that there might be something going on this summer as well.
That will be great. I follow you guys on Facebook. So I'm pretty sure that information will be there. And I was hoping also that during the school season, you guys would do some other activities that he can be involved as well.
Well, all of this will help them make those decisions, right? So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
It's been fantastic. He was excited about it before we even started. To see STEM in Bolingbrook was awesome to us as parents. And then he came home so excited after the first night, looking forward to the next, and it's just continued that way. And it's been better every day. So I understand there might be something happening this summer, and we're already looking forward to that as well.
Well, you just answered my next question. That's really great to hear that you would do it again. Have you ever been involved in anything like this before?
Not specifically STEM, because this is the type of stuff that he loves at home. The circuit stuff, like he has a bucket of old electronic junk, and he will just experiment and then hook a battery to it. But at least this way, it's controlled and it's taught, and yeah, I mean, I learned by putting a battery on my tongue that, okay, there's voltage there, and yeah. So, I coach him a little bit and, stop him from the dangerous stuff. But again, an environment like this, taught by professionals in the areas, it's fantastic.
We're now here with Karen and Anthony on the last day of this workshop. So how do you feel about everything that's gone so far?
I think it's great. He's been excited to come, and he's come home with a lot of cool projects that he's worked on. Got second place in, what was it, the civil engineering building, so he's excited.
Second place. How did you like it?
I liked it.
Yeah? And what was your favorite project?
The robotics.
The robotics? What about it was fun for you?
I like programming things.
Okay. Cool. So do you think you guys will be involved in the next class that we bring up?
I would definitely like to sign him up again if he wants to, which I'm sure he will. So.
Well, thank you so much for giving us an interview, and thanks for coming out, and I'm really glad you enjoyed it and had fun. We're here with Darnetta Jones, and you're Leah Jones?
Yeah.
How did you like building your robot?
It was fun.
She was telling me how good of a time she's having, and plus she was excited about today about making the robot. So she's been enjoying it, and I'm just happy for her and like the program.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys made it out here with the weather and everything, and it's been a lot of fun. It's really been a lot of fun.
She's been enjoying it, so we're excited about it and hope programs like this continue, because especially in this area, so we don't have to go to Naperville or Aurora, but we like the fact that they came here in Bolingbrook.
So here we are again, Mr. Logan, the last day. How'd it go for you?
The last day was very, very good. I think the video game design with the high schoolers was one of my favorite classes because I've never taught it with kids that old and that experienced. So it's really cool to see them, step up to another level of creativity and design work and really understanding all of the concepts behind what we're doing. The kids were kind of sad to leave, so that's good to know that they enjoyed it. And it was really fun to have some safety officials come in today.
Stephanie, here we are, the last day. We made it. It was a lot of fun. How was it for you?
It was
an absolute blast. I love seeing the kids really excited every single day when they came in, and when they left, they were just really excited to tell everybody what they learned, and it was great.
I'm here now with Dominic Guida, and you are the Director of Curriculum with the Bolingbrook STEM Association.
Yes, Nancy, hello.
Hi, how you doing today? Now the last day of this 4-day workshop. This has just been fantastic. How do you feel about it?
It's been great. Our attendance was good, and every time I came in, the students were engaged, and Engineering for Kids did a great job with running the program and with the content they brought.
Planning something this large, and you've gotten involved, to the level that you do. Are you the one that actually chooses the curriculum that they put out there, or how does that work?
No, in this case, Engineering for Kids brought the curriculum. They're a third-party vendor based in Naperville, and they service our area. They have disciplines in chemical engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, really all the engineering disciplines. And they said they had like 300 different courses. They selected some special for us in our group. And yeah, they brought it, we evaluated it and looked at them and approved it. And when I say we, I mean our board.
Okay, and what are your credentials?
Well, me, I started a second career in education about 3 years ago. After a 25-year first career in IT, I was an application developer and a computer programmer, mostly for the Tribune Company. I worked for the Tribune Company out of Chicago for over 20 years. And always liked education. I always asked my boss to be, can I do the training? I always wanted to do the training. And so they'd let me go out and train the clients on the new computer systems. So I thought a long time ago that I'd like to try teaching as a second profession. Okay. So I started doing it, got involved in I work every day in the Plainfield school system as a sub. Okay. And I find my passion is really in curriculum and in curriculum development. There's a lot of curriculum out there. I've been through many websites looking at different content. Some of them are great and some of them not so good. My passion is a developer. I was a developer my whole life, and I hope to develop some curriculum that the STEM can call its own and do some camps where we do some of our own activities.
Well, thank you so much for giving me this interview, and we're really looking forward to a long, long future with Bolingbrook and the STEM Association.
Thank you very much. Bye now.
On the last day, everything just went fantastic. As you heard, all the interviews and everything that got done. We had children working on everything, like I said, from rockets to robots to code to games. They learned how architecture works. They learned how batteries and electricity works. It's just, I can't tell you enough. This was just a great time. I hope you come and check it out. We're going to be having some more coming out here in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Until then, this is Nancy with BCT. Take care. Here we are. We're back at the BCT Channel 6 studio, and we're doing a little wrap-up. This is after the workshop, 4-day workshop, and it was just an awful lot of fun for me. I'd like to know, how do you think it went?
Yep, so that was our winter break STEM camp, our Bolingbrook STEM Association's first major event. And Nancy, I'd have to say I'm very excited and optimistic about the future of Bolingbrook STEM itself, and very excited about the young people. They were able to grasp what they were being taught, and extremely mannerable, well-behaved, and it was just an overall great event.
One thing I noticed there was the huge age difference, and that everybody was able to excel at their own rate, kind of like a mini Montessori type of an event. And because when I was in school, I struggled, and it definitely wasn't fun. Not like it was at the workshop. And to see not only the students but the teachers as well, they were just as fired up watching the children come back and present all these things to their parents, who were so into it. Have you had some feedback from the parents yet?
So tons of positive feedback from the community, from parents, from students. There were students that we overheard speaking to their parents about how much fun they had and the great time that they had at the STEM camp. So that's very rewarding, and that's why we do it. And as you mentioned, the wide range of ages, we had from age 4 to 18, each segmented in their own age groups, and it worked out well within those groups. As you mentioned, students could proceed at their own pace as they felt comfortable. And again, I was simply amazed at how almost all the students really progressed pretty well because they were having fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes all the difference.
It does.
So tell me, what about your next events that are coming up?
Well, we're going to immediately begin planning for our spring break camp here in Bolingbrook. We're going to provide 2 separate sessions, one for our Plainfield Naperville schools, which will be March 26th through the 28th, and obviously a STEM camp for our Valley View School District students, and that one will take place April 9th through the 11th.
Okay, well that's great. So we got something to look forward to, and hopefully we'll just keep seeing that number of students going up and up, and look forward to many more days.
Definitely, definitely. And, Nancy, we want to thank you and the entire Bolingbrook Community Television crew for spending time, throughout those 4 days. And, obviously the behind the scenes work it takes to pull and produce those videos. We're very much appreciative. And on behalf of the entire organization, we want to thank you.
It was our pleasure. Totally. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Take care.
Go STEM.